Rocky, time to get into some betting, mates. It's been another tough week for us. We've had a bad beat. This is probably our second or third of the year. We'll talk about the multi shortly. But this is we've got a full deck this week. All the teams have had their bye for the season. So I'm pretty keen to get some report cards from you. Put your teacher hat on. I want to talk three teams that are sitting outside the 8 that made the finals last year. We'll start with the Brisbane Lions, absolutely flying right now. 3 wins on the trot. Sounds like Will Ashcroft is returning to the side this week. Forward line's firing on all cylinders. Coming off, they did have a grand final hangover at the start of the year, but they look really good now. What grade would you give Brisbane at this point in the season?
Oh, for the point of the season, they're probably a C. But I think there's much upside to them. They're a game and a half out of the top 4. Their percentage is second best in the competition. So if they can string a couple of wins together, the top 4 is still open for them. If they finish top 4, they're going to be hard to stop. So Sydney clearly ranked 1, but Brisbane probably around a C at the moment. Could easily be an A+ by the end of the season. Do
you expect Ashcroft just to slot straight back in and get the touches that he did last year, or is he going to be a bit rusty coming off that kind of injury?
I think the way he plays and the professionalism that he's shown throughout his career, I think he'd step straight in. I'm not sure whether they talking VFL action first or straight in.
I think he might be straight in. They're still deciding as we're recording this, but It sounds like he's very much on the cusp of returning.
In the frame to come back in, but I'd imagine he'd slot straight in. Obviously, a little bit of touch and game pressure and game fitness is you can't replicate it no matter how much training you do. So maybe not the instant impact, but if we get him in now, back after the year, sort of the last couple of weeks into hopefully a finals campaign for him, I think he'll be cherry ripe.
Big game for the Lions on Friday night against the D's. That's the next team that I want to speak about. I'm very curious to see what kind of grade you give Melbourne. Lucky to get away with the win last week without Christian Petrarca. They look like a much different side. The Roos kicked the final 6 goals in that game. I don't know how they lost that. That's another tough beat for North fans. And high-scoring games really haven't been a common theme for Melbourne this year. What would you give the D's right now?
They're probably similar. I'd say they're almost a C as well. Massive game this weekend, Friday night footy. Brisbane $1.18 or about $1.20. So as we record on Monday, I think they get rolled, and then their draw's not that easy on the way home. I think they probably miss finals with no Petrarca. Oliver's not the same player as we've seen in the past. Gawn's potentially come off a little bit. So their big 3 are just not the output that we've seen in the past. They've still got their issues in the forward half of the ground, back half. They're pretty solid down there, but again, their percentage, they're about even. They give up as many points as they score. So to be sitting 9th this time of year with the injuries and concerns they've got, I think they'll struggle to make it.
Did you have them sliding out of the 8 or even the top 4 before the season started?
Probably around that 4, 5, 6 position. But I didn't have them missing finals. They will be a massive disappointment if they don't. They would probably go down as the team that's underachieved in this period. I know they've got a flag to their name, but they probably should have won 2 or 3 flags in this period. Yeah. And if they miss finals now, their older guys are starting to come off. They've got those players on long-term contracts. They're going to have to shake it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Speaking of shaking it up, the last team we've got to talk about, and I think I know what you're going to grade them, is St Kilda. Outside of maybe the Crows, they've got to be the most disappointing team of season 2024. Have scored over 100 points only twice all year. Just not a lot to cheer about. They're not an exciting team to watch. Ross the boss is probably out at some point. You're going to give them an F?
I think they have to get an F, don't they? Like, from finals to now sitting 14th, there's no upside to them, in my opinion. I can't believe they're starting favourites this week against Port Adelaide. I know Port Adelaide have had their issues, but if Port don't win this game, big concerns. I think they just get hold of St Kilda. Their offense, we know the way that Ross coaches, and maybe they overachieved a little bit last year, but they're, as you said, one of the most disappointing things for the season 2024, I think, along with the Adelaide Crows. They're going to, I don't know where to for them. How do they rebound up the ladder? Their depth's not there. We keep hearing about this treasure chest that they've got. They're going to have to spend a lot of it.
Yep. When I was doing the notes for this, I was trying to work out who's their, like their linchpin players. Jack Steele, Wangani Malira, like King
probably.
Yeah.
King's probably the one that you have to hang your hat on, build your team around him. But Steele, like the captain, he's sort of come off a little bit, I reckon, this year. He's not having the impact. I just got players running around in the VFL that probably should be playing AFL footy. Brad Crouch, these guys need to find a way to get back into that team. They're a long way off for me, St Kilda.
Tough to be a St Kilda fan. My heart does go out to them. Let's preview Saturday night. Bombers versus Cats. Could be a game between two genuine pretenders. I look at the ladder and I go, geez, how is Essendon still sitting third? As I said, fascinating top 8 game. Cats have had the wood over the Bombers, though. They've won 6 straight, dating back to 2019. Geelong won this fixture by 12 goals when they met last July. And the big news, another sort of wait and see as we record this, is Tom Hawkins. We're not sure if he's going to be done for the year with that foot injury. And the Cats own just 1 win over an opponent currently inside the top 8. We saw the Cats really struggle in transition last week against the Blues, conceded 8 goals off turnover in their defensive 50. Do you think Essendon's set up to punish them in a similar fashion?
Potentially. If Geelong play straight down the line, Essendon are so aggressive defensively. I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago when they took on the Gold Coast Suns. Their positioning is really super aggressive defensively. If they play down the line, Essendon will slingshot off that and cut them up. They're just not the same team that they were, Geelong. But if they can change angles coming out of their back half, they potentially open Essendon up the other way. So I'm with you. I think it's a bit of a game of two pretenders.
Yep.
I don't think Essendon are a top 3 team. I think they'll slide, and I'm not sure Geelong make finals either. So there's going to be a lot of wrestling for positions. Your mob at Hawthorn sitting 13th, there's still an outside chance.
Oh, stop it.
But this is a fascinating watch. Both percentages very similar, 102.7, 102.9. A game and a half separates them. It's a massive game. If Geelong win it, they jump up the ladder. Essendon come right back to the field. And, it's a game of the pretenders.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't lead you in either way. Tom Hawkins, obviously, if he's out for the season, could be career ending. And then Dangerfield, we sit here on a Monday afternoon. He's going to challenge. I don't see how he gets off.
No, it looks tough for him. Yeah,
pin both arms. Opposition's head goes in the ground. If he gets off, it's a AFL PA president little tick and flick there. But they've got to shift the ball, take the game on a little bit. Geelong get back to their run and carry, but it's a game of nothing really.
Fingers crossed for Tommy Hawkins too. We hope it's not career ending. Speaking of crossing fingers, we're going to need it for the multi because last week, geez, it was stiff. I went Carlton to win, got us off to a good start. Then I went the Swans 1-39, which I was pretty worried about because I checked the score at halftime and I thought they're going to win this by 70.
Yeah.
And then GWS sort of made it at least competitive, so that got up. I'll let you explain your legs.
Well, I have to recall them, but I know that we had Merritt and Lukosius, actually. Lukosius 2+, so he was the last one. He got that done, but Merritt, we had 30+, and he's finished on 29.
Yeah, that's not good.
So champion data, have a look at yourselves out there. Make sure that you have a look at the
but can you have a chat to him?
That is a tough beat. You probably don't get tougher than that, do you?
Nah, that is
one possession.
That is that is slide in the DMs worthy. No, don't do that. I don't encourage that. Let's look ahead to this week. We're going to go pretty similar. You love your player markets. Actually, no, you're going match markets. What am I saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Brisbane to cover against Melbourne. We've already spoken about that. I think the Lions are a great bet at the Gabba on Friday night. And then on Saturday, another sort of coin toss game, Gold Coast and Collingwood. On the Gold Coast, I've gone the quarter-by-quarter market.
Ooh.
I've gone any other result. So that's any team to lead at the end of either 4 quarters.
Right.
So it's $1.94 for that one. I think the Suns started really fast last week, then they faded. Collingwood always comes back in the 4th quarter. I think that could be really back and forth. What have you got?
It's a bit of a fancy one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exotic for me. Yeah.
We haven't done that in a long time, but I like that. I'm going head-to-head. I see some real value this week. I touched on it before, St Kilda versus Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, for me, a great value. Get just over $2 on Monday afternoon. I think they'll fire up. They need a good performance. And St Kilda, I just don't know where they're at. They opened the field up a couple of weeks ago, coming off the bye. I think they may struggle. And this one, I'm not sure about.
You've just said, Hawks are a chance to make the 8.
I'm not sure, and I've clipped you a couple of times for putting North Melbourne and West Coast in your multi. I'm going to tip into West Coast. I think they were good last week. Didn't quite get the job done against the Bombers, but they've got 3 big inclusions or potential inclusions. Harley Reid, probably the best first-year player we've seen. Dom Shee potentially comes back, and Callie on their home deck against Hawthorn coming off the ball. I think that's good value at 2.7.
This is such a big call. Wow. Yeah, putting your reputation on the line here.
I think they get the job done. And maybe I've got too much faith. I don't want to go player markets because the last couple I think Elliot Yeo, we missed by 2 and then Merritt 1. So I'm going to let the players off and just go head-to-head. So Port Adelaide and West Coast, probably 2 teams that are not in great form. But
no, I don't hate it. Look, it's a tough road trip for Hawthorn coming off the bye straight to Perth. So I can, you build a solid argument. So to recap, I've gone Brisbane to cover against Melbourne Friday night. The quarter-by-quarter market, any other results in the Suns and Collingwood game. You've got Port to win outright against St Kilda and West Coast to win outright against the Hawks. $20.10 for that one.
Juicy. That'll cover us for the year.
Yeah, geez, we just need one more and we're in the green. We've done it.
Done it.
You can find that multi in the special section on the Neds app. Good betting chat as always, Rocky. Hopefully we don't have another stiff week.
Yeah, good luck.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.